I've reviewed hundreds of coaching recordings over the years. And the sessions that really work, the ones where clients leave with genuine progress, they all have one thing in common. The coach managed the flow. They held the process with intention and skill while the client did the deep work of discovery. That's what we're exploring today. So what does it actually mean to hold the process? Think of yourself as creating a container, a space where your client can explore freely without getting lost. You're not directing the conversation. You're not telling them where to go, but you are paying attention to the shape of things. You notice when the energy shifts. You notice when the thread starts to fray. And you hold steady so they can do the work of insight and commitment without worrying about whether they'll run out of time or lose their way. ICF puts it simply, partners with the client to manage the time and focus of the session. Notice that word, partners. This isn't something you do to the client. It's something you do with them. But make no mistake, you're the one holding this responsibility. Your client is deep in their own exploration. They're not watching the clock. They're not tracking whether they've drifted off course. That's your job. Stewarding the session's direction and pace while honoring their agenda and what's emerging. Here's why this matters so much. Focus is really important because the client has decided what they want to achieve in this session. And if you don't focus on that, well, you might have a lot of things happening and you might have a great conversation, but you won't produce the outcome the client's looking for. Think about that. A wonderful, rich, engaging conversation that still leaves your client without what they came for. That's not serving them. That's just talking. Every session has an arc. There's a beginning where you establish focus and orient to the work ahead. There's a middle where exploration and insight happen. And that's where you need to hold the thread of the goal even as things get rich and complex. And there's a closing where learning gets integrated and commitment forms. As a coach, you have to be able to manage the time of the session, which means you need to manage the arc of the coaching conversation along with the time that you have and focus on the goal the client's looking for. Know where you are at all times. Pace accordingly. Let me be direct about something. Managing time and focus is fundamentally your job, not optional, not nice to have. It's core to the coaching agreement. Now, I know some coaches worry this sounds controlling. It's not. Think of it as stewardship. You're serving your client's stated intentions with skill and care. Here's the division of labor. You hold the process with steady attention. The client does the work of discovery, insight, and commitment to action. You hold the container. They fill it with their own transformation. There's an art to it. There's an art to hearing the client, being responsive to the client, and holding the process so that the client gets where they want to be in the time that you have together. You're doing 3 things at once: hearing them deeply and following their exploration with full presence. Remaining responsive to what's emerging in real time, the shifts in energy, the moments of awareness, and holding the process steady so they actually reach the destination they named at the start. That dance between flexibility and structure, that's the artistry of coaching. So what does this look like when you're actually in a session? First, you develop awareness for when the conversation begins to drift. Not every tangent is a problem. Sometimes gold is found in unexpected places. But you notice, second, when you do bring it back, you do it gently. You honor what's emerged while reconnecting to purpose. Here's what that might sound like. I'm aware we've been exploring this direction for a few minutes. How does this connect to what you said you wanted to accomplish today? You see what you're doing there. You're naming what you notice without judgment. You're inviting them back without forcing. Let me name three traps coaches fall into. The first is being so responsive that you lose the thread entirely. You follow every tangent, every exploration, and the session feels rich but produces no clarity or action. The second is the opposite, being so rigid about the stated goal that you miss what's actually trying to emerge. The client feels unheard or constrained. And the third, simply not tracking time at all. You lose awareness of the clock, then rush the close or run over. The client leaves without integration or commitment. All three fail the client in different ways. So here's what I want you to take with you. You hold the process with steady attention. The client does the work of discovery and transformation. That's the division of labor. And managing focus, it's not about controlling the conversation. It's about serving your client's stated intentions with skill. That's stewardship, not control. Now, managing focus also means knowing when the client wants to go somewhere new. How do you follow their direction while still stewarding the session? That's exactly what we'll explore next.